pase largo, escorado a la banda, pegado a la línea de cal Ronaldinho. ¡Oh, madre mía, la que acaba de... Impresionante el pase para Larson!
He played football like he was dancing with the universe, smiling, dazzling, creating magic with every touch. But what happens when the magician disappears from the stage? This is the rise and fall of Ronaldinho, the genius who became a ghost. The birth of magic. Porto Alegre, Brazil, 1980. A boy is born into a family that breathes football. His name? Ronaldo de Assis Moreira. But to the world, he would become Ronaldinho, the little Ronaldo. From the dusty streets of Brazil to the famed pitches of Europe, his story begins not with fame, but with a spark, an unteachable joy that made football seem effortless. By 13, he'd scored 23 goals in one game. Yes, 23. Can you imagine? That wasn't just talent. That was destiny whispering. His older brother Roberto, once a professional himself, became his guide. After a career-ending injury, he promised he'd turn Ronaldinho into the star he couldn't become. That promise shaped a legend. The world takes notice. At Grêmio, he was electric. At PSG, he was chaotic beauty. But it was in Barcelona, where Ronaldinho would become immortal. 2003, Camp Nou, a club in crisis, signs a smiling Brazilian with an afro and a grin too big to fail. He doesn't just restore Barca, he revives its soul. Step-overs, no-look passes, elastico. The world watched with dropped jaws. He made football look like jazz, improvised, brilliant, and full of heart. But here's a question. Can a man who plays like a god offload the burdens of being mortal? Because being the face of joy can become a prison of expectations. The Pinnacle. 2004. FIFA World Player of the Year. 2005. Again. 2006. Champions League. He was the best. Even rivals stood and applauded. Remember the night Madrid fans clapped for him at the Bernabeu? That wasn't just football. It was reverence. He inspired a generation. Lionel Messi would later say, Ronaldinho was responsible for the change in Barca. He made everything easier for me. And yet, the same joy that lifted him began to pull him away. The samba parties, the distractions. Ronaldinho lived as freely off the pitch as he did on it. But freedom comes with a price. And soon the magician would find that the stage no longer adored him the same. The fall. 2008. Barcelona lets him go to AC Milan, where glimpses of magic remained, but the light was fading. His smile? Still there, but the fire? Dimming. He was no longer the game's conductor, just a note in its melody. Back to Brazil, Flamengo, Atlético Mineiro, flashes, moments, but the legend was slowly fading into memory. He became a symbol of what could have been. Coaches praised his talent, but questioned his discipline. A tragic paradox. Have you ever wondered, how does a man go from winning everything to being forgotten by the very world that once worshipped him? From genius to ghost. Then came the headlines, the controversies, the fake passport, the jail time in Paraguay. The man who once ruled the world now sat behind bars. He had no bank accounts, no properties, his fortune gone. The man with the golden touch was bankrupt. And yet in those darkest days, he smiled like he always did. Because maybe Ronaldinho was never chasing trophies. Maybe he was only chasing joy. But what is joy without purpose? And what is genius when the world forgets your music? The legacy left behind. Today, Ronaldinho is a global ambassador, a shadow of his former self, but still beloved. He tours the world grinning, dancing, signing jerseys. For those who witnessed his prime, he remains unforgettable, a comet that lit the sky, then vanished. Young players still watch his clips. Kids on the street still imitate his tricks. He may no longer compete, but he still inspires. And perhaps in the end, that's enough. Ronaldinho's fall wasn't sudden. It was silent, gradual, hidden behind that eternal smile. His legacy? Complicated, beautiful, tragic. He reminded us that football is not just about goals or glory. It's about the feeling, and sometimes feelings fade. But if you listen closely, in every street game, in every smile after a goal, in every joyful trick, you'll still find a trace of him. The magician may be gone, but his magic lives on. And speaking of legacies, there's another story that stirred the world, one of betrayal, brilliance, and backlash. Tap the screen now to watch The Controversial Legacy of Luis Figo, a tale that shook the foundations of football loyalty.